Good morning, everybody. I'm making videos quite often at the moment, but it's usually when something strikes me as being an important thing. So this morning, I'm going to refer back to the video I made yesterday, which was about two socio-economically different schools, opposite ends of the spectrum. So I need to add to it a little bit because at the end of it, I realised that what I had said there was important things in there, but also some things I missed out. And some of the things I missed out were about how teachers get into the situation where they don't really know what to do with their children, and particularly when it comes to managing classes, etc. Now, there is a huge amount, as you know, because it's happening to you, and if you're not a teacher and you're a parent, you should know that there's a huge amount of stress on teachers, particularly at the end of the year. Now, this goes without saying. I don't need to say this, but to set the scene. So, having come into a classroom and seeing what has happened in there, I am aware immediately where there are good, solid relationships going on between the teachers and the students. And I have to say that in both of those examples I gave yesterday, both sets of classrooms, honestly, they were amazing. The relationships are excellent. So I can tell you that. But the thing that occurred to me that I need to say about everything actually is that good things take time. And one of the things that we struggle with in teaching and in any school, doesn't matter where you are, all around the world. So if you're watching from somewhere else, please be aware of this as well. You will always have pressure on you as a teacher to fulfill impossible dreams for impossible people. And it cannot be done. You don't have, as they say, you do not have a magic wand. But you not only don't have the magic wand, you also need to have the respect to let people grow in their own time. And it's a respect thing. This pushing children to do what you want them to do and learn what you want them to learn in the time that you're giving them is really, really disrespectful and needs to be addressed. So we all know that we all learn at different rates. We know this. So when you are hammering home the same old thing day after day after day, you are not teaching. You are actually persecuting children. So lay off that. Find another way. You don't mean to be persecuting children. What you mean to be doing is helping children to learn, but you're not, and there's pressure on you. Because some person way up there in the academic jungle says that this child should know this by such and such an age. Well, I have just proved to you yesterday with my two examples of two socio-economically different schools in two completely different areas with two completely different sets of teachers who have pretty much the same ask on them. And it isn't fair. How can children who do not have an enriched environment at home, how can they be on an equal playing field with children who are being taken all around the place? Now, in that lower level, the lower socioeconomic school that I visited, I have to say to you that those children couldn't tell me basic landmarks around their own city. They didn't know outside their own suburbs. They didn't really understand what their own city looks like, is comprised of, or how it works. Now, if I took you to the other school, I can tell you that they are looking for solutions to things like traffic and transport problems for our city. How could they do that if they didn't have some prior knowledge. So can you please understand that? Now, as a teacher, you don't have a lot of power. So it's really important to try to have those conversations and get other people on board with you, because this has gone on too long and it is actually crippling a large part of our society. When you get groups of people, and I know because I've lived all around the world and seen this happen, when you get groups of people who are impoverished in terms of education, who are marginalised, and I am going to use that word, marginalised, because their education is not catering for their needs, then you will have trouble. You will have smash and grabs. You will have ramming of shops with vehicles. You will have people being bashed up on the streets for their money. We don't want that sort of stuff. I don't care if you live in America. I don't care if you live in England. I don't care if you live in Australia. I have seen this in Egypt. I've seen this in China. This is not particular to our country in New Zealand, where I live. But I have to say that I'm calling you out. And I'm calling out every one of those managers who is not standing up for the fact that people are not on an equal playing field. And the other thing I'm going to say is they need to stop pushing and start thinking about other ways of getting their accountability, because that's what it's about. It's not about children, it's about accountability. And this has to stop. It puts pressure on teachers, it's putting pressure on children, it's worrying families, it is causing students to leave school too early, it is causing social problems, and it has done long before this in other countries, not just New Zealand. This is a worldwide phenomenon. So how about we look at that? Now, I know this sounds like a grump. It's not a grump. I gave you evidence yesterday. I collected my data. I am telling you this is what is happening. So please, could you think through ways around this? And I would really like to see some comments, and I would like you to like and subscribe, because these conversations need to be had. Now, having said all of that, I have to say, I said to you yesterday that the children in the lower decile school were nice. They were really lovely children. They were better than nice. They were so caring and loving, and they afied me, and they showed me their aroha, and which is their love and their concern, and it was all about manakitanga, etc. There was no manakitanga of any great impact going on in the other school. But over time, there could have been and may well be if I go back. So I think it just takes longer. And there again, good things take time. So could you please consider that we are not in any great rush to get this done. There is people do not have to behave to the clock, because that's all it is. It's a clock and a calendar. It's got nothing to do with neuroscience. Right. Thank you very much. And like, subscribe, and come back, because I am just dying for another conversation. Thank you.